Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Impurities. In Arabic, the word for impurity is najasa. It refers to everything that is repulsive to people of sound nature. They protect themselves from such things and they wash their garments whenever such things fall upon them.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Every time we start a class, we start by, first of all, the praise of Allah is very important, and then, as important, passing salutation of His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after that, we start saying that tonight is, and you mentioned the Islamic date, 28th of Muharram, the year is 1439, and you mentioned that is the days Al-Arabi'a, and you can mention as well, this is the book of Wajeez that we are explaining. So you could say Qala, the author had said in his book Wajeez, and you start. And then you give the page number. So everybody can really follow you. Right. And Najasat is a very important issue, because if you don't understand this chapter, you will not be able to make and perform proper purification, because the purification depends upon removal of the Najasat. So here, Najasat is a plural of Najasa, he says, and Najasa, which is impurity in English, and the terminology here is explained as everything that the people who has got correct nature, healthy nature. If your nature is not healthy, if your heart has been corrupted, I don't think you'll be able to understand what is the najasa, because some of the people, their instinct and their nature had been so much corrupted that for them the urine is okay, and that is why you'll find them not really washing their hands after the urine, and they they talk to each other while they're urinating in the urinals. You see them, chit-chatting, while they are urinating, because they have no that sort of nature that we have. If you are in such a situation, you don't really go and talk to somebody comfortably. This is the case, it's najasa. And when he says here, kal-'adirah wal-bawl, al-'adirah, which means the excrement, and bawl, which means the urine. And here the urine, it means the urine of those things which are impure. The urine of a human being, the urine of, for example, we're going to talk about those animals which are impermissible to eat, whereas the poo, the excrement, the stool, and the urine, as we're going to see, of those animals which are permissible to eat, like the sheep, like the rabbits, like all of those which are halal to eat, it is no problem, it is not najis. Actually, some of it is a medicine, like the urine of the camel. She camel, which is giving birth to a baby who's 3 months old, when she's feeding the milk, liqah, this milk is to be mixed with the urine, right? Yeah, that's the one which is really loud. You have to have something similar to this. This one, oh, that's why. It's all because of this gain, all right? Very sensitive. So we find that the urine which is mixed with the she-camel milk is a medicine, as the Prophet had described. Right, let's just go to the principle. Qaida, go ahead.
Principal ruling concerning any kind of matter is that of permissibility and purity. This is, they are to be considered permissible and pure unless proven otherwise.
Right, that's a principle. Anything you find, whether it is liquid or solid, is to be halal, halal to eat, halal to touch, halal, and pure unless it's proved otherwise. So if you find a plant, okay, it's halal to eat regardless. We're not going to have what type of plant is this? Is it mentioned in the Quran or the Sunnah? No. But if you found out by experience or by people telling you that this plant is poisonous, and it becomes haram because of the what?
Knowledge.
Because of the what? Because of the poison. But it's haram because of the poison. That means if you eat quantity, that would poison you. So if, for example, part of it is used as an antidote, antibiotics, yeah, there's no problem. The haram is the poison, it's not the tree. So I could use from that tree something that would what? Benefit from. Like the cannabis. Like the all these drugs that they planted. It's not haram because it's the plant. Haram is what? The effect of it. So if you've taken from the opiums or the cannabis plant something which is as a beneficial little ones, then it's no problem. You know that the morphine is used in every single ambulance. It's got a morphine in it. And no way will you are knocked out. You're going to say to them, morphine is haram, don't put it in me. No. Everything's halal unless it is harmful. So if that plant or that drug is used to benefit me, there's no problem. But if I'm going to use a morphine here to be high, as they call it, see high, or high, then it's haram. So you understand now the difference between permissible or not permissible. So everything's permissible unless something says otherwise. So everything that you see that here, I could see now the drink in front of me. It looks like milky. Maybe it's not milky. I don't know. Maybe chocolate. I don't know. I haven't tasted it yet. It is what? Pure. Halal and pure. Somebody said to me, no, brother, this is a mixture of sewage. And I can't touch it because now somebody told me that. Or it smells sewage. And I can't drink it. So that is, drink is. So he who wants to say it's impure, give me the proof. Go ahead.
If someone therefore claims that an object is impure, then the burden of proof is upon him to bring forth some evidence for the impurity of that object. If he does, his conclusion will be followed. If he is not able to bring forth such proofs, or if he does not present an acceptable proof, then our judgment will be according to the original principle, and it being free of any impurity.
Which means it is pure. If you don't bring me proof, it's pure. Go ahead.
Since declaring something to be impure is an obligation that concerns all people, it is not permissible to make such a declaration unless a proof has been established for it.
It's very important. So for those people who say, for example, HMA meat is haram. What's the proof? Show me. What is the HMA is haram? Because if you said haram, how many millions in UK is going to be affected? There's not the one just eat, the one who works in the factories, and the ones who slaughter. Because you say that what? Haram. Bring me proof. For us, we know that the slaughtering of this country, the Christian, is halal. And HMA, they add to it, is Bismillah. Now, if you said to me that the animal, I'm not talking about HMC. HMC, they know it's halal. HMA, the animal is dead when you slaughter it, you're wrong. Bring me proof. I have seen it. I have seen that animal is still alive. With my own, and I recorded it with my video. It's a stunning animal, they stun it, and they slaughter it within that time when it is what? It's alive. Even though he's knocked out. If you leave him, he will come back. Maybe he's not going to come back normally, healthy, properly, but he will come back to life. He'll be affected because of shock. So he's still alive. We're not really agreeing on what they're doing. Islamically, it's not right. But I'm just saying, this country will not allow the animal to die completely to slaughter it. This is the law. Do you understand that? To be dead animal, because they know that the animal is dead, it's going to be rotten. So still, but the problem is, as soon as you stun it, and as soon as you slaughter it, the blood will not gush out as much as if it was not stunned. You know, because out of breath it will be. So the blood will be just pouring down. Whereas the other one, like that. MashaAllah, powerful. And you'll find even the difference in the taste. But I cannot say haram. It's very important to know that. You cannot generalize things like this. Right? If it is the case, there we go. What are the things that we know they are impure? Number one.
Those items for which there is proof that they are impure include the following: 1 and 2, human urine and feces.
human urine and feces. Right, the human urine is in general is impure except for the urine of the baby male who is unweaned, the one who's just depending upon what? Milk. The milk, that's it, the milk of the mother, not Formula One. So if he is unweaned, his urine, if he's a male, is decreased in its impurity. But we still stays impure. But what is the decreasing here in the purity? That is when it comes onto your lap, the urine, you don't have to go and take your clothes off and go and wash it. You just sprinkle water on top of it and that's it. Whereas if it's the proper urine of a female or an adult male, then you have to wash it properly. You have to go and put water in it and to get that out, the urine. But with this one, you sprinkle what? Water on top of it. You don't have to start to extract it and juice it out, that clothes of yours, to dry it out. Just sprinkle water in it and that's it. Okay? Why it is that the male, this is not in your book by the way, why is it the male urine of the baby, not the female? Are we here as well? Sort of, what do we call it? Misogynists, people who hate women all the time, and where the women are all, what's wrong with that girl as well? Why is she different from the male? Well, first of all, this is this is what we call it, like something which is logical. Prophet ﷺ, he said that there is sprinkling regarding the urine of the male unweaned baby, whereas the female you have to wash. And it's been proven, medically speaking, that the urine of the female is more of damped than the male. But this is not because of that. You see, as I said, it's logical. The male is always carried at that time as well. People carry the male. Where the female, they always leave her at home. And that's the natural thing, that the people will carry the males with them along. That's the logic number one. Because of that, Allah made it easy for you. If they urinate, you don't have to take off your clothes and all of that. Second one, which is the mechanism by which the male urinates, is much more difficult to clean than the mechanism of the female. What I mean by that, when the male urinates, he urinates all over the place. And that's why it made it easy for us. We can't really trace what is the impurity. Whereas the female, it's in one spot. So it will be what? Easy to wash. The other one, you don't know how to trace the dots of it. Is that understandable? So that's why Allah made it easy for us. So logically as well, understandable. I mean, then people will just say, no, is he a male or female? If a female, I will carry her. If it's a male, I'm not going to carry her, because unless you pay and put him nappy properly and all of that, because you're scared. But now when you know that there is no wash except for sprinkling water, that's it. You sprinkle water, that's it. Then you'll be able to carry the male easily. You understand that now? Alright. The excrement, the poo, regardless whether it's an adult, male, female, child, male, female, weaned, unweaned, it doesn't matter. He is what? Impure. So the excrement is impure. The excrement is impure. Let's go to the hadith of Abu Hurairah. As for the excrement, go ahead.
As for feces, its impurity is proven by the hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if one of you steps with his sandals into something filthy, al-adha, then dirt is the purification for it. Al-adha refers to everything that harms someone.
Al-adha or al-adha, you mean?
Al-adha.
Al-adha.
Al-adha refers to everything that harms someone, such as impure things, filth, rocks, and thorns. Its meaning in particular hadith, though, as it is clear, is impurities.
Right. Okay. He says here, this hadith regarding the feces. What feces here? Is it feces? A human being is called feces as well? It's not excrement?
Both.
Both. Right. Feces or excrement, or the poo. He says, it is, the proof for that, Abu Hurairah, Prophet of Allah ﷺ, said, if one of you with his sandal, the shoe, went into adha means here impurity from the feces, something which is like impure, mud full of urine. Okay. Then he says, فَإِنَّ التُّرَابَ لَهُ طَهُورٌ. The way to purify that is what? The sand, the soil, the dirt. Is that what you call it? The dirt here? Yeah. I mean, the word dirt, I'm not relaxed to it, but I would say the sand maybe. Okay, whatever, the dirt.
Yeah, we don't have sand here.
You don't have sand here, all right. The mud here, you have.
Yeah.
You have a mud here. Right, the dirt. But it doesn't mean that the dirt is the only way to purify. This is the simplest way of purifying it. So if you carry your shoe or your sandals and you put them in to the sink, as long as you wash, they're going to shut your head off on you. Putting your shoe there, washing this. So you would wash it, no problem. You could wash that, no problem. But this is the more practical way of doing it. So you have something in your sandals, all you have to just do, rub it where? On the floor where there is dirt. Not on this floor which is floorboarded. No, it's not going to work with this. So it's something to do with the ground. Dirt, rocks, stones, sand, soil, grass. No, not grass. It has to be something to do with the dirt. So it has to be to do with the grass, with the dirt. If you're the grass, then you have to make sure that everything, there's nothing there. You have to clean it, like basically wipe it and wash it and use it. So if you stick your feet or your sandals into the grass with the soil, yes. So go deeper. Go deeper with that. Right. So that's when we, alhamdulillah, we understood that. Now we go to the urine.
Concerning urine, there is the hadith narrated by Anas radiallahu anhu, in which a Bedouin was urinating in the mosque and the people got up to stop him. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then said, leave him and do not cut him off from his act. Anas continued by narrating that when he had finished urinating, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked for a container of water to pour over the urine.
Well, this is a story of a Bedouin man who doesn't know what is the masjid is all about. I'm pretty sure if he came to a masjid like of ours, I would not imagine he would go and urinate there. No way. But it looks how simple is the masjid of the Prophet. Some stones from the sides, palm fronds from the top, palm trunks as the qibla, palm trunks as well for the sake of lifting up the fronds themselves. So very simple. So you can see through it sometimes the sun comes up out on the rain. Because the Prophet of Allah one day when he prayed in the masjid, and it was the Fajr, as soon as he got up from the sujood, there was some mud stuck to his forehead. It means the masjid is not waterproof. It's a simple masjid. So a simple masjid like this, the people will not have some sort of thoughts, oh, this is a masjid. And plus this Bedouin man doesn't know, he's got no knowledge. He's ignorant. So ignorant that he came and he wants to urinate. The ignorance of his as well, that because they are Bedouins, they don't care about going far away to urinate. So they don't care about just turning themselves and put their backs to you and then he will urinate while you are next to him. The Bedouins. You understand me? He doesn't mind. So he went to urinate in the masjid. So the people there, lots of people, he could just get out. So he's about to do it. Companions, they saw him, they're shouting at him, what are you doing? Some of them, they came and wanted to go up, punch him out. So this person is, is humiliating, ridiculing our masjid. What are you doing? So when the Prophet saw the companions are about to beat him up, Prophet said, leave him. Don't cut his urine off. That's the mercy that the Prophet of Allah was sent with. What is this upstairs?
And there's a group upstairs, kids also.
Yeah, you've got something going
Our
on.
kids?
No, it's a group, another group.
Class.
Never mind. We'll tolerate that, inshallah. So the kids have said. So the Allah musta'an. Right, so the man basically he saw the Prophet of Allah with his words prevented those people coming to him about to beat him up by saying to them, leave him, don't cut off his urine. SubhanAllah. You know that if a person is urinating and you suddenly cut it off, the bad effect and the negative effect, Allah knows about it. Allah knows best so much. So he left him, leave him. لا تزرموه. Don't push him, leave him. And then he said to them, tell them off. إنما بعثتم ميسرين ولم تبعثوا معسرين. You've been sent to make things easy upon the people, not to make things hard. What is your stance if you've seen somebody's going to urinate in this here? No. What is your stance if you've seen a person going to urinate in your own masjid? Take a lesson from the Prophet. I have seen a person shouting his head off on a person who was a disbeliever, came to complain about a car parked in his driveway, and he came in the Jumu'ah with his shoes. He didn't urinate. Somebody is just really screaming at him. The man said, what's wrong? He didn't know what's happening. Can't step with your shoes into our masjid. Don't think maybe that guy's going to embrace Islam at all. Is this the way? He doesn't know this. He believes his shoe is clean. You never knew that he's going to offend you. And hang on a second. It's not a major sin to come with your shoes into the masjid. SubhanAllah. Yes, the people don't like it because the masjid and the carpet and all that. But remember, the Prophet of Allah's masjid used to pray with their shoes on. I mean, I've seen that with my own eyes, and I was really annoyed because of this. This person, we want to invite him to the deen. Look what we have done to him. He's actually complaining about you guys because you parked in his driveway. Because you don't care. In the Jumu'ah, you just park your car anywhere. And that's not right, akhi. Go and search. Doesn't matter. You spend 3, 4, 5 minutes. Go and search. But don't block somebody else's. Not right, akhi. We are Muslims. We're trying to deliver the proper message to the people. Parking is one of them. So chaos in parking. I'm not talking about the brothers here maybe, but you know what I'm talking about. People that don't care. They are, what we call it, inconsiderate. Coming back. Soon as that Prophet of Allah, that he said to them, it is enough after he finishes, bring water, put it on top of the urine. There's another narration, take the dirt where he had urinated and take it out. You understand me? Take the dirt, or whatever, and put it out. Now, putting water on top of it will clean it, but taking the dirt, what will do? Hasten the process of what? Clean. So if you took it with and put the dirt with the dirt which has been soaked with the urine, khalas, it will be quicker. If you put the water, it's going to be, who's going to be praying there until it's going to be what? Dry. If you left the sand in itself exposed to the sun and the air, by time it's going to go. Because there will be no smell, nothing. So it'll be clean. If you expose the land, because you know that the land, how can you guarantee that every land you pray upon is never had a person urinating there? You don't know. But you could smell. Nice area, mashallah, no problem. Right, now after we have finished the urine and the excrement, or the feces, straight away we go to the third one or the fourth one. Just we go to the third or the fourth one. Remember, the story ends up with a sort of sense of humor here. When the companion, when this Arabi Bedouin finished his urine, he went to the Prophet ﷺ, being pleased because of his word. He stopped those people, whom are the companions, beating him up. So he said, with his own words, I'm quoting, Allahumma arhamni wa Muhammada wa la tarham ma'ana ahada. Oh Lord, have mercy upon me and Muhammad on our own, and don't have any mercy on those people. No mercy on those other people, because he has seen them and are unmerciful to him. Just have mercy upon me, O Muhammad. So he reasoned Allah, O Lord, have mercy upon me and Muhammad, and don't have any mercy on anybody else. Prophet Allah smiled, just like he smiled now. He said, you have limited the spacious mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And there is no limit for the mercy of Allah. The mercy of Allah would include in this dunya even the disbeliever. The one who says that you've got a son and you've got a wife, still he gives him food. Makes him breathe. Now.
3 and 4, Al-Madi and Al-Wadi.
Al-Madi, not Al-Wawi, Al-Wadi. Al-Madi, Al-Madyu, Wal-Wadyu. What is the Madi and the Wadi which are impure? Now.
The Madi is a thin, clear, sticky fluid that is produced during amorous stimulation, but it does not come out like an ejaculation or gush out, and also does not cause any type of exhaustion afterwards. In fact, a person may not even realize that he has excreted it. It occurs both for men and women. It is impure. Thus, the Prophet ﷺ ordered that the private part should be washed due to it. Ali ibn Abi Talib stated, I was a person who would have Madi come out often.
Not Madi,
Medi. I was a person who would have Medi come out often, but I was too shy to ask the Prophet ﷺ about it due to my relationship with his daughter.
Because he is the husband of his daughter. Now.
Thus I requested Al-Maqdad ibn al-Aswad to ask him. He did, and the Prophet ﷺ said, you should wash his private part and make ablution.
Right. Let's talk about the Madi and Wadi from the point of view that which is we will explain it so you can know what it is. That's number one, it goes from the male and the female. There's no distinguishing. So male and female, they produce Madi and Wadi. The difference between the Madi and the Wadi is two differences. The Wadi is thicker than the Madi. And the Wadi comes out by itself and you don't feel it. You don't feel it at all. So it comes out after the urine, like a white liquid. Thick, after the urine. But it's a male or female. That's called the Wadi. Okay, that's the Wadi. Sa'il Thakheen. And it comes out, so you don't feel it at all. That's number one. And number two, that it is thick. Number three, it is impure. So it is impure, just like the urine. It is impure. Whereas the Madi is a thinner. It's white in color, like the same thing, but it's a thinner in terms of thickness of it, and sometimes you feel it, and it comes out when you're thinking about foreplay. That's how it is. So it's not really comes out because of the urine. So it's like, for example, a husband kissing his wife. I'm not talking about now the ejaculation of the sperm. That's different. Talking about the Madi. And that's why Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu قال كنت رجلا مذاء. I used to produce that liquid. And I don't know whether it's impure or pure. What should I do? Should I have a full ghusl or not? Because I was shy with the Prophet of Allah, it's his daughter, my wife. So I sent someone to ask on my behalf. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to him, verily, wash قال مذاكير or ذكر. The wash, that is the organ of the private part, all together, all of it. So the female, she knows her organ part, and the male knows his organ part. Now, organ part, I mean everything, including, do you call that English, testicles as well?
Yeah.
The testicle, including the testicle as well. So to wash the whole mechanism in order to get rid of the called al-madi or al-wadi. So now we understand the wadi. Did you finish the wadi? I don't know. Go on, talk the wadi.
Al-wadi is a white, thick fluid that comes out after urination, usually due to an infection or something of that nature. It is also impure.
Okay, add to it. We said comes out without any lust. Comes out without any lust. See that? And you're not going to feel it. That's the main two things there. You're not going to feel it, and it comes out without any lust. Whereas the madi, it comes out when you are thinking about foreplay, so that you're thinking about the wife, but it does not come out while it comes out with lust. Do you understand me? You come out when you think about the lust. When it comes out, it's not like the ejaculation. That's the difference. So it does not come with the ejaculation, just being discharged. Right. So sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't feel it. That's the madhi. Right. Go ahead. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he says.
Ibn Abbas stated, there is semen, al-wadi and al-mawdi. As for semen, it is the thing due to which one must make ghusl.
Ghusl means in the full wash. Go to the shower or the bucket. You have to put water all over your body. That's the ghusl. For the many. And the other one?
As for al-wadi and al-mawdi, he said...
No, many.
And al-madi, he said, wash your private part, or he said, private parts, and make the ablution like that for the prayer.
Right. Actually, there is another narration from Ali ibn Abi Talib, which is in Sunan Abi Dawood. The number is 192 on the authority of Ali. That the Prophet ﷺ, he said, let him wash his private part and his testicles. So he mentioned the word testicles there, وَأُنْثَيَيْنِ. So this is Abdullah ibn Abbas. He said, Al-mani wal-wadi wal-madi. The three things. Mani is the sperm which is discharged with ejaculation. Al-wadi is the thick white excretion. Excretion? Is that excretion? Yeah, excretion that comes out after urination and you don't feel it, and it comes out without lust, and the person you don't feel it. Third one is the madi, that the person, he first of all, it's white and it's thin, and it comes when you think about the lust, the foreplay, but it does not come with lust. And this madi, sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't feel it. Now listen to me. Al-mani is pure, but al-madi wal-wadi is impure. That's why he mentioned only what? In the impurity, the mani and the wadi. As for the mani, the sperm, the ejaculation is pure. And when he said you have a ghusl, that means this is the ghusl which we call it the spiritual ghusl. Because the mani comes out from that organ of yours. You're not having a wash for this, for the organ. You're having a wash for the what? The whole body. It's like when you pass wind. That wind that comes out is not impure. But you make what? Wudu. Do you understand me? So when you pass wind, you don't go to the toilet to clean your wind. You're going to make what? Wudu, which has nothing to do with where the wind came out from. Do you understand that? Same thing here. With the mani, you have a full ghusl, but as the mani in itself is pure. Prophet likes to have the mani in his thawb, in his clothes. So Aisha used to say, if it was dry, I will just scrape it out. And if it is wet, I will wash it. Now I'm just saying, if it was impure, scraping is not enough. So it is pure. And the ones who says impure, we'll ask him, what's the proof for that? And Prophet ﷺ, he had commanded us to wash the madi and the wadi, but never had talked about the mani, to have a wash as in the organ, but to have a full wash. To have a what? A full wash. That full wash, nothing to do with the impurity of that thing. It's nothing to do with the impurity of the sperm. And that's important, you understand what I'm saying? So the mani entails full wash. Madi and wadi, it does not entail wash, it entails wudu, but washing the private parts. Okay? Right, so if you have urine on top of your clothes, are you allowed to stay with that urine, or you have to go and clean yourself? You have to go? Right, okay. Now you understand. So if you have madi or wadi on top of your clothes, can you stay like this? You have to clean it straight away? You have to clean straight away. If you had many, you had made intercourse with your wife, are you allowed to sleep until the Fajr or not? Yes, do you understand that now? You're allowed to sleep until the Fajr, because it's not what? Impure. It's not impure. Because if it's so impure, you have to get up and go wash it straight away. You can't leave impurity in yourself. The Prophet of Allah, he used to have, the intercourse with his wife, and he wakes up during Ramadan, well after the Fajr, and then he has what? Ghusl. Look, So it did not invalidate, number one, his fast. Okay, never mind. Just annoying sometimes. So it does not invalidate his fast because he kept on janaba well after Fajr. And number two, it did not make him to go and clean himself straight away because it's pure. But when he want to do the salah, he has to what? Have a ghusl. Is that understood? Yes? Okay, inshallah. Right, going now to the fifth one.
5. Dung of animals that cannot be eaten. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said the
Dung of animal can be eaten. Please, I'm adding to it as well. Dung and urine. Dung and urine.
Dung and urine of animals that cannot be eaten. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went to relieve himself and said, "Bring me 3 stones." I brought him 2 stones and a piece of dung. He took the 2 stones and discarded the dung, saying, "It is filth."
Right, so here, Prophet ﷺ, he wanted to clean himself, that means making a stinger. Huh? You know stinger, the word stinger? Stinger. To clean your private parts after you have passed feces or you have urinated. So, he said to Abu Hurairah, to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, sorry, bring me 3 stones. So he went to bring 3. So the stones has to be 3 in order to go to clean. It's not a stone, 1 is enough, it has to be 3 stones. But in terms of tissue or water, you don't say 3 waters or 3 tissues. Only for the stone. 3 stones. So he went to bring, he brought 2 stones and a rix, you call it? The animal donkey, dung. What's a rix, by the way? That word stuck to my mind. Okay. If anybody just Google that out, rix. It came up just now. It's in the archive. Rix. Yeah. It's an Arabic word. It's an Arabic word. Nice. Sorry about that. So, he brought him an animal dung, which is a donkey one. Donkey, he had a donkey which is the domestic donkey. Because we have 2 types of donkeys in Arabic. A donkey, which we call him the Himar al-Wahshi, the bestial donkey, or the wild donkey, which is the zebra. The zebra is called wild donkey in Arabic. Because it's a donkey, you know, the zebra is a donkey. So we call him wild donkey. And the other one, which is the domestic one, which is the red one. Okay? So he's talking about here the donkey, which one?
The domestic.
Domestic one. The zebra is halal to eat. And the urine of it is no problem. It's clean. The urine and the feces of it is clean. So there's difference between this and that. Domestic one is haram. So he's brought him that dung of the red donkey. So he took the stones and he left the dung of the animal and he said it's rijs. And another word he said rix. Right. So rix means najis, impure. So if it was said, question, that he brought him not a dung of an animal which is impermissible to eat, he brought him, let's say, a stool of a sheep. The stool of the sheep, we said, is what? Pure. It's not impure. So let's say he brought him 2 stones and 1 stool of the sheep. Is that going to be okay? No. If he brought him a tissue, yes, no problem. But the Prophet ﷺ, he told us that the bones and the dung of those animals are the food of our brothers and jinn. The bones, the food of the jinn, and the dungs, the stool of those animals is the food of the jinn animals. Animals got jinns as well. You understand? They've got their own animals. So their animals feed on the what? On the dung, the stool. That's why you're not allowed to use it to go and clean yourself with it. And the bones is for the jinn themselves. So they mention the Bismillah and it becomes back as it was. Our brothers from the jinn. So when he says Bismillah, whatever kentucky you have eaten becomes kentucky again. Kentucky fried chicken. Yeah, it becomes straight away the same thing. And he eats it. Subhanallah. Right, so we also that these dungs, Prophet Allah, he said, they don't clean. So on top of that, they are the food of our jinn, but they don't clean. That's another issue, so they don't clean. So now we understand the urine and the what? The feces of the animals are impermissible to eat. Now listen to me. The urine of the animals which are impermissible to eat, they're not as impure as their dung. The reason behind this is that the Prophet of Allah, companions, used to fight in wars. Some of those companions used to have a donkey. And these donkeys, sometimes they urinate, and the urination go what? Splash back onto them. And they use just only what? Throw what? Water. They don't wash it. Because of that, it is not as impure as their what? Faces. Is that understood? This is all of it to do with the Sharia making it easy. It's an easy-going Sharia. Imagine that we use animals that we are. Every time they're going to, some urine came out, we're going to step down, and the animal's going to come and kill us while we're cleaning these things. So Allah made it easy for us. Alhamdulillah. Right. The number 6.
Number 6, menstrual blood. Asma bint Abi Bakr stated that a woman came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "We get menstrual blood on our clothing. So what should we do?" He replied, "Rub it and scratch it off with water, and then wet it, then you can pray again."
Right. So this is the menstruation blood. Why did he say not just the blood? He says that's the menstruation blood. He didn't mention any other blood, whether it's the blood of a human being, or blood of animals which are permissible to eat, or blood of the animals which are impermissible to eat. He didn't mention all of that. Because, remember the principle, everything is to be pure, halal, unless what? There's an otherwise. There's a proof otherwise. We have only one proof to say that the only type of blood that is impure is when we call them al-hayd, the menstruation, and we add the nifas as well, the postnatal. So you could add that as well. Postnatal and menstruation are the same. So any other blood is pure. Whether it is prolonged period. You understand the prolonged period for the men? You don't understand it. Women maybe they don't understand it. Prolonged period is the blood that comes out of the woman during the time which is not her menses. Well, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Rakbah min rakadat al-shaytan." It's like a vein broken and burst because of shaitan. He made it to mess up the cycle of the woman, to make her think that she's on her menses, to make her stop her prayer. And she saw, that blood, which is called prolonged, is still pure. So even though it comes out from the private part, but still pure. The only which is impure is the blood of the menses and the blood of the postnatal, the post-childbirth bleeding. These are the two types which are permissible. They are so they are impure. They are impure. And by the way, when we say something is impure, we are implementing two things. Haram to eat, do you understand me? Haram to use, haram to sell. Okay? And number 2, it's impure. Whereas when you say something is haram on itself, it doesn't mean it's what? Impure. Give you an example.
Alcohol.
Alcohol maybe, but we come something which is the blood itself. حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم. It's been in the ayah. Says it is prohibited upon you to eat the carrion, dead animal, and the other one, the blood. The prohibition of that blood, it doesn't mean the blood is what?
Haram.
It's haram pure. So if you use that verse to say the blood is impure, you're wrong. For verily, when we say something is prohibited, it doesn't mean it is impure. We have lots of examples. But the vice versa, yes. If something is impure, it is prohibited. That's the principle. Remember, if something is haram, impermissible, it doesn't mean what? It's impure. But vice versa, yes. If it is impure, definitely it's haram. It is haram. So it's haram, this impurity, to buy and sell. What is the, do you understand that? Haram. Haram. Because haram, impure is haram. Najis. So we call it the impurity, it's haram plus. Okay, haram plus. Alcohol, brother has brought an example. Okay. The alcohol is a difference among the scholars. Is it pure in its substance or not? The impurity of it is spiritual. It's not substance-wise. It's not materialistic-wise. When you drink it, it's haram. But as when you touch it, it's pure. So if I touch it, if I use, for example, the anesthetics and all of those that with pure things, medicine things, that means it's no problem, it's pure. If it was no hadith regarding the alcohol, would have said yes. Because the Prophet of Allah, he prohibited 10 with the alcohol. He made the usage of alcohol is down to the intoxication of it. So whatever intoxicates you, it's going to be what? Haram. So if you had a medicine where it's got alcohol in it, especially the coughing medicine, if,
Night nurse has got a lot of it.
yeah, I don't know what it is, but like a coughing medicine, we're not going to make an advertising for medicines. So here, the coughing medicine, you go, if that coughing medicine says that if you drink a lot of it, you get drowsy, that means you get drunk. Then keep away from it. But if that percentage of alcohol is so low that there is no restriction on it, then no problem to drink that medicine, even if it's got alcohol. But to make it, as a Muslim, it's haram to make it. Because you're not going to make it, you're going to make a medicine, you got alcohol next to it. Can't have alcohol next to it. You are supposed to be what? Away from the alcohol. Prophet of Allah, he said, Al-khamru ummul khabaith. Wine is the mother of all filth. Now why is wine haram? Because of the what? Because of the alcohol. So the wine is the mother of everything which is evil. Then the alcohol is the grandmother of every evil. The grandmother. It's because of the alcohol wine became what? Haram. And remember, this is something that's very, 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 I would say, helpful to us. Sheikh Al-Albani was even happy with that. Because we ask ourselves, well, so what about these detergents, especially the wives and sisters, and they want to ask that. We clean the house with some sort of like Dettol. By the way, the Dettol got no alcohol. That's a very good anesthetic as well to purify. Very good substitution for the alcohol. Very good. So what about our cleaning stuff, gang bang, whatever, all these things. They use it for ovens and all of that to remove the grease. So they've got in it methanol, okay, and that's extracted from the alcohol. We'll tell you, and that's what Sheikh Al-Albani knew about this. He said, Alhamdulillah. The alcohol is not the methanol, it's the ethanol. This is the ethanol is an E, an N. One begins with E, another one begins with an N. The methanol is a poisonous substance. The methanol. As the ethanol is the one gets you what? Drunk. So the methanol is the poison. We said the poison is not impure. It's poison. You could use small dosages. Like for example, if you've been bitten with a snake, what do they give you? Snake of a poison. Of the same snake, poison from that snake. To kill you. Antidote. Subhanallah. So using that we said that before. So no problem to use the opium, remember, the drugs and all of that. So if that is methanol is poisonous, no problem. Clean the floor with it and poison your floor. No problem about that. Poisoning your floor is no problem, inshallah. As long as it's going to poison people with you. And children. So if that is the case, alhamdulillah, it's no problem. The alcohol, you could smell it, it's like cologne, isn't it? It sounds like cologne. Because when I go to the hospitals, aftershave, when you have this thing, it smells. Really smells. So that is not really right to clean yourself with. We need the alternative. When we have, I said, Dettol, mashallah, is the alternative. Very good. It's called Dettol or Dettol?
Dettol.
Dettol. We call it Dettol. Dettol. Okay. Fair enough. let's go to the very interesting topic. Go ahead.
7. Dog saliva. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrating the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the purifying of one of your bowls that a dog licked is for it to be washed 7 times, the first time being with dirt.
Right. Saliva of the dog. So that means what? The dog, all of him is okay. So if a dog comes and touches you, don't say, oh, jump up and down and scare the English people and they say, what are these backward people? Scared of a dog. So the dog, if he touches you with a fur, there's no problem, akhi. The problem is when he starts licking you. Okay? So if it's sniffing, there's no problem. It's that the licking. If he gets his tongue out, okay? So this is the saliva of the dog, which is impure. And the Prophet ﷺ said, if he had to lick your pot, then you wash it 7 times. And he says the first one is with the sand. We have a narration which makes it 8, which is authentic. So you start with the sand, and then you make another 7 washes. So you wash it with the sand. You know the sand, so you wet the sand a bit and you start. It doesn't work if you just did it with fairy liquid, alright? You have to add the sand. That is if he had licked a pot that you eat or you drink from. If he licked something else, we don't have a proof to say that you wash your clothes 7 times, one of them is with the dirt. We respect this as the opinion of some highly qualified scholars, but there is no proof for that. Prophet of Allah, he talked about the pot. Because the thing of the dog licking you, that's something which is, can happen in any time. But the Prophet never said, you take it, because really it's not really right. You're going to put sand into your washing machine, it's finished. It's finished. You need another washing machine. Okay? And if you're going to ask your wife and yourself to go and wash it, it's going to be a lot of work here. One with dirt and then after that with the washing. No. It's only once you wash it and that's it. So it's only with the pot. The pot, because you're going to eat from it. You're going to drink from it. And here, remember the dirt, subhanAllah, how powerful it is cleaning. The dirt. It's powerful. And I'll tell you what, your soap is actually particle-wise, chemistry-wise, is from the dirt. It's made from the dirt. SubhanAllah. SO2. Go ahead. Yes? Waiting for you.
8. Carry on. This refers to the animal that has died without being slaughtered in the legally sanctioned manner. Prophet ﷺ said, if the pelt is tanned, it becomes pure. The exceptions for the skin of pelt of carrion being impure are the following.
Okay, hang on a second. So he says here, the dead animal. What is the dead animal? That is the animal which is not being slaughtered in the halal way. It's called dead. He's not talking about, for example, if I slaughter the lion, it becomes halal. No, lion is impermissible to eat, whether you slaughter it in the name of Allah or you kill it. It's haram to eat because it's one of those animals which are not allowed to be eaten. And there's a principle here regarding animals. The animals which got the canines, the canines, they kill with it, save the only animal which is halal, that is hyena. Halal to eat. Another one, all of them got the canines are haram to eat. So dogs, beasts like, for example, lions, tigers, cheetahs, and all of that. Okay? Cats, all of them got canines. Those canines, haram to eat. Now, he's talking about animals who are permissible to eat, like the sheep, like the camel, like the goats, like the cows. But if they died, or they were not slaughtered halal way, then it becomes a dead animal. So this dead animal, the dead animal, plus anything which is, I'm going to add to it as well here, whatever has been cut off from the live animal while it's alive, it becomes as well impure. So if you cut, for example, an ear or a leg from the animal while it's alive, Do you understand that? That part that you have cut off, it becomes what? Impure. Maita. As the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ما قطع من البهيمة وهي حية فهو ميتة. Whatever has been cut off from the animal while it's alive, and it's considered to be as well carrion, dead animal. They call it carrion? Yeah. Carrion. Right. Now he says here, إذا دبغ الإهاب فقد طهر. If the skin of the animal is being tanned, al-ihab is the skin of the animal before it's been tanned. It becomes pure. So the skin of the animal, if you slaughter the sheep properly, halal way, everything is halal. Even the skin is halal. But they tan it. Why do they tan it? In order to get rid of the smell. You know what's tanning? Tanning is like salting it and putting it in the process of colors or tanning it, put it in the sun. Have a sun tan. That's the process of it. Okay? So the animal, if you slaughter it, like the sheep or the cow or the camel, if that animal is being slaughtered, everything is halal. Everything in it is halal. Regardless, whatever is halal. So even the testicle is halal, the organ is halal, the skin is halal. I'm not saying the skin is halal to go and eat it. I'm just saying skin halal, I mean to touch it, you use it. But they tan this skin in order to what? To get rid of the smell. But we're talking about here, no, an animal which is not being slaughtered. Or a dead, for example, lion. Or a slaughtered lion, it doesn't matter, we said there's no difference between a lion slaughtered or dead. Because it's haram anyway. A lion. Or a tiger. Skin of a tiger. We're not allowed to hunt tiger for the sake of the skin. But let's say that there's a tiger died. Everything in the animal is dead, including its skin. Haram is impure. But that skin, to make it pure, if I tan it. So if I took that skin of that tiger out and I tanned it, treated it, then it becomes what? Pure. No problem, you could use it. Put it for the floor. You could use it as a coat. You know, whatever, jumper, anything you like. Now, there is exceptions here for the dead animals. Those exceptions. Number one, go ahead.
Number one, dead fish and locusts.
Dead fish or locusts. What? Hadith ibn Umar?
This is based on the hadith from Ibn Umar. We said that the Prophet ﷺ said, 2 types of dead animals and 2 types of blood have been made permissible for us. The 2 dead animals are fish and locusts. The 2 types of blood are the liver and spleen.
Right. By the way, this is one of the proofs that the hadith abrogates the Quran. One of the proofs that the hadith abrogates the Quran. It's called, there's an abrogation here. Abrogation, cancellation. And this abrogation is partial. Nasakh juz'i, you call it. How? Allah said, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ. Allah, He said, is haram upon you to eat the following. Al-Mayta, the dead animal. But the Prophet ﷺ said, 2 types of animals, even if they're dead, is to be what? Halal. That's called what? Abrogation. Partial abrogation. Partial cancellation. Do you understand? Hadith is saying, no, not like the Quran says, all the Mayta haram. So Allah, when He said, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ, the animal is haram upon you, He meant حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ, except for fish and locusts. Where do we get this addition from? The hadith of the Prophet. Do you understand that now? حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ, except. So whatever the Prophet of Allah makes haram, is haram. Whatever Prophet makes halal, it is what? Because he does not speak from his own, he speaks from Allah. If you depend upon the Quran itself, you get lost. You have to have the Quran and the Sunnah together. So here the halal mayta, the dead animals halal. He said the fish. Here there's some companions came to the Prophet of Allah. He said, Messenger of Allah, inna narkabul bahr. We go to the sea. When we go into the sea, we have some water. That water, if we use it for wudu, we're not going to have water to what? To drink. So the Prophet ﷺ, he answered them that question plus a question that they definitely need. Because you are in the sea, he said, هو الحل ميتته الطهور ماؤه. Not only it's pure to use the water of the sea, you don't have to use your own water which you drink. Use the water of the sea, plenty of it. Just put the bucket into water, Use it. And not only that, because you're in the sea, you need to eat. So whatever you bring out from that sea, dead, that means it dies. So you don't have to slaughter it. It doesn't mean it was dead already there. That's an important issue. So if you find a fish floating on top of the sea, is dead, you're not allowed to eat that. It'll be rotten. You're not allowed because it will be harmful to you. What it means you're dead, that means you captured it alive and what? It died because you took it out of the sea. But there's no such thing you're going to slaughter the fish in the name of Allah. Bismillah. Huh? You can't. As soon as you let the fish out, it will die. So when he said, Al-tahuru ma'u, the water of it's pure, and al-hillu maytatu, and the dead animal, I mean whatever you bring out from it is halal. Now this is in general. So if you have the rock, the fish, the rockfish, it's a poisonous one. So we say everything in the sea, just like in the land, is halal, unless it's proved what? Harmful. But if that rockfish, I took the skin out, because it was all of it in the skin, that poison, by the way. I took the skin out, it becomes what? No good. That's why it becomes good to eat. MashaAllah, no problem. There are snakes in the sea, you know that? Sea snakes, just like the snake. The snakes outside, halal or haram? Haram. In the land. Why is haram? Fangs. The fangs, the canines, they call it the fangs. Haram. But the snakes in the sea, halal. Subhanallah. There's a program, I don't know if we talked about this here before. Yes. What's about the program? That man? Bear Grylls, yes. Bear Grylls. Yes, he eats, and I just hear what he says about the taste. You know, I learned from him the taste. So he had eaten everything. He had drank everything. He drank his own urine. You know that? This guy, for survival. One of these programs, he's talking about the snake. He captured a snake and he had barbecued it. And he eats some of it and he was not happy with that taste that much. But when he captured a snake, sea snake, and he was eating it, he said, it tastes like fish. I said, Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar. Look at that. He was enjoying it. It's a fish. Is the other one on the land? It's not that tasty. When I asked a Chinese man, him and two women, they came to the shop of mobile of my friend, and I was there. I was interested to know. Curious. Do you eat dogs? The two women, the Chinese, no. The other one said, yeah, I eat it. So I said, how does it taste? Isn't it stinky? He said, oh yeah, stinky. It's a bit stinky. Subhanallah. So why do you eat if it's stinky? And this one, he said, it's a bit stinky. It's a bit stinky. It's a bit smelly. He said, smelly. How do you eat such a smelly thing that you eat? Allahu musta'an. Allah Azza wa Jal, when He made things haram upon you, because they are haram, not just because He wants to test you as well, because they are not beneficial, they are harmful to you. They're horrible. When they had made the khinzir, pig, when the person eats a pig, I'm not talking about here the materialistic old illness and whatever God knows in that meat. When you eat pig, become a pig. Spiritually speaking, we're talking about. You become a pig yourself. You have no spiritual element there. SubhanAllah. So transform you into a pig. And even the pig, in the dictionary and the mind of the non-Muslims, until recent days, it's the dirty thing, isn't it? Nobody can call it, you pig. It's a swearing thing, isn't it? But what do they do here to the children in the cartoons? They make the pig as about friendly, cuddly animal. Pig. Yeah, it's a nice pig with his horrible nose. Stinky smell and a'udhu billah. The pig is already dirty, they eat everything, his own children. Very dirty. So they make him cuddly. They want to spoil, they want to destroy the nature of the children. So imagine that somebody called him, you pig. He said, yeah, it's a good name, thank you very much. Still, alhamdulillah, some people they don't like to be called pigs. They don't mind being called rabbits, cats, no problem. But pig, it's a swearing word. Why? Because a pig is a dirty animal. And it's in the Christians as well. Christianity in the Bible is forbidden. It's prohibited. There's a person who is an evangelist who was talking to lots of people. Somebody forwarded to me his YouTube thing. And it was really very fantastic because he's talking about from the perspective of the Christians. He was talking from the Bible. What God made for you halal, like the buffalo, like the cows, like the sheep. And he talked about the way they eat. He said that those animals, when they eat, they got a very sophisticated way of digesting their food. So they process their food and filterize all the poisonous intoxicants, all of these things away. Whereas the pig, the swine, he said, which God made unlawful to us. He said, everybody likes his bacon here, but I'm telling you that the God in the Bible, he prohibited this because this animal's got a very poor digestive mechanism. In 4 hours, he processes his food. That means hasn't done proper filtering of the poison of the food, so it is still in his meat. So in 4 hours, and then when you get the butcher, you can put it it becomes in your plate and you eat it. So he said, compare now 24 hours digesting animals between 4 hours, and you will know the difference. You've seen that? Who has seen that? Put your finger up. Only one person out of there. You haven't seen that. After the class, please ask me to go give that to you. It's very good. Because you could give it to the Christians. They believe it more than they believe you. Right. The second one, the locust. You ever seen the locust? Locust is a small, insect. It's bigger than of course, the wasp and the hornets. It's vegetarian, very vegetarian, and he eats only corn, wheat. He likes it. So he comes in into big bunch of swarm of them. And even they come to our country, the country declares emergency to fight it. They have to fight it with just the planes. They fight it with planes as well. Really, they come to the harvest and they harvest everything. Nothing left. People have no corns, nothing left. Those animals, when they come in big numbers, millions, and some of them they die. Some of them they capture them. So this animal, I don't slaughter it. So if it's dead and it's fresh, I could what? Eat it straight away. Have I eaten some of that? Myself? I haven't. Anybody have eaten?
No, for you.
No, I haven't. I've got one brother who hasn't eaten it here. How does it taste?
It's for a long time.
How does it taste?
It's dry.
It's dry. No smell?
No smell.
No smell.
I've read about it. It's got so many vitamins.
So many vitamins. I'd rather not to have these vitamins, myself. I'll survive without the vitamins, inshallah. And not everything, halal I could eat it myself. Prophet of Allah, he didn't eat the dab, the small lizard. Not the lizard, the little one, which is the iguana, which is the lizard that goes in the desert. Prophet of Allah, he didn't say it's haram. But he himself did not eat it. And he was looking at Khalid Walid, how is he eating it? Radiallahu anhu. He was eating it in front of him and he's amazed. Because he doesn't really eat it in his homeland. It's not one of these homeland animals. Okay, right. The second one, we'll finish inshallah here. Second and third. The dead animal of what?
Animals that do not have circulating blood in them, such as flies, ants, bees, and so on. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if a fly falls into a bowl of yours, then immerse it into it completely, and then throw it out for in one of its wings is a disease, and in the other is the antidote.
Right. Listen to this now. Everything that's got no liquid blood in it. He mentioned the ants. He mentioned also the bee. He mentioned the fly. When we said these are an exception, they're not dead, it doesn't mean you could eat them. Because the first one he talked about the dead fish, the dead locust, you could what? Eat them. But he doesn't mean you could eat ants, we could eat bees, or we could eat flies. No, he's saying it is pure. It's not impure. So for example, if you killed a fly on your clothes, for example, you don't have to wash it. It's disgusting. It's like mucus. You know mucus? It's pure. But you don't like to have mucus in your clothes, do you? Huh? Do you? The phlegm of yours, do you like to have that as well? So it's nothing to do with impurity, to do with disgusting. Same thing here with having a fly. Because if it was impure, Prophet Allah would have never said that if that fly went into your drink, that what? Dip all of it. To make sure that the 2 wings goes inside. And then take it out and drink your drink. For me, if I see the fly in my drink, I'll throw the whole drink. Out of what? Disgust. It's not out of what? So if I see a fly in my drink, I can't drink that drink. And I'm not thinking maybe some of you will drink that drink. But the Prophet of Allah is saying to those people, oh, the drink is for them is, if they can't afford to have another drink. So that is a medicine for you. So you want that drink, okay, dip that fly completely, take it out, drink your drink. It's safe, medically speaking. But out of disgust, the same thing with that. I mean, which one is better for you? To eat the dab or to eat a drink or to drink a drink that's got a fly in it? Which one? I would eat the dab myself. Do you understand me? I will not eat something which has got fly on it. I'm disgusting with it. But I know the dab, some people said to me, it's really nice meat. One of my friends, he went to Saudi Arabia, and he said to me, I've eaten the dab. But if they told me it was a dab, I would never even touch it. So they brought us, mashallah, the rice, there was meat, white meat, and I was eating. Delicious. Until I went inside and they put me the ukra in Arabic, the tail of that thing, in the middle. As soon as he finished, that sort of rice or pile of rice went down, disclosing that little thing. What is this? So he'd been eating the dab. Oh dear. Then he stopped. Then he didn't vomit. But he said it's nice. It's like just normal meat. It's vegetarian, by the way, the dab. Very vegetarian. Okay, very vegetarian. Even cleaner than the chicken, in terms of vegetarian one. He likes the plants and all of that. So now we understood that this fly, if it was impure, Prophet Allah would never say to dip it all of it because it will spoil your drink. As for the ants and the flies, and the bees, same thing here. We don't eat it, but they are still to be pure. Last one.
Bones, horns, nails, hairs, and feathers of dead animals are all pure, based on the basic ruling of purity, unless there is proof otherwise. Bukhari recorded without a complete chain that Az-Zuhri said about the bones of dead animals, such as an elephant and others, I've met some of the earlier scholars who used to use those for combing or applying oil, and they did not see any harm in that. Hamad said there was no harm concerning the feathers of the dead animals.
Right. So anything to do with the animal which is not the skin. Remember the skin is what? Impure. The skin of the dead animal is impure. Only when you tan it becomes pure. So the dead animal, in terms of the meat, in terms of the skin, is all of it impure. Except the skin, you could tan it, becomes pure. But other than that, the bones which are outside, the fur which is outside, not the skin, the fur. So the dead animal is dead, you could touch the fur. Still what? Pure. So he says, the hoofs, which are dry, all of that is still pure. It's only the flesh and the skin. Something to do with touching the meat. But not the tusk, the elephant when they died, got big tusk. They were very useful, these ones. They make it from an ivory, isn't it? Very expensive.
Not the inside bones, but the skeleton, is that right?
No, the skeleton, no. Because we said that before. Remember the bones? So, the bones, we said, the bone, if you said the bones by itself, I mean, like for example, let's say that the flesh is gone,
yeah,
and they were exposed to the sun. Yeah, because we said it's pure, but you can't use them for what? Extinction. Remember that? They are the food of our brothers from the gym. So it's only the skin and the flesh, the meat, is impure of the dead animal. As for the bones of the tusk, is pure. Fur is pure, so you could cut the hair of the dead animal. and still is pure. Right, with this, alhamdulillah, we stop. And the following topic is going to be, inshallah, how do you purify impurities? That's a very as well interesting topic. Yes, we haven't done much in terms of page-wise. How many pages? 3 pages. But it's a lot. It's a lot of material to be covered. Okay, 4 pages is a lot. Alhamdulillah. Go ahead.
Is it halal to eat snails? I went to Morocco, they're selling snails.
Is it halal to eat snails? Snails in Arabic means halazun. We said, what's the principle? Proof for it. Where is the proof that the snail is haram? Scholars differed on one principle regarding the animals which are impermissible to eat. They have agreement regarding the canine. As well for the birds, they have agreement regarding the one which has got the hook. Talon? Yeah, talon. That's right. And remember, the talon is not for the chicken. The chicken, yes, it's got that smaller talon if you wish, but they don't hunt with it. They hunt with their beaks, the chicken. But the other one, like the eagle, the falcon, they're haram because they have the talent, they hunt with it. Alright? There's a principle which, as I said, the scholars are different. قال ما تستقدره الطبائع السليمة. If the animal were the healthy nature of a body, of a person, feels disgusted about it, it becomes haram. That is a principle which is fragile. It's not really a strong one. Because whatever is disgusting for you, for other people is what?
Nice.
Nice. I'll give you an example. Halazum, this one. Maliki, Imam Malik says halal, ya akhi. Moroccans, Algerians, they love them. They like them. Even in France, I think they love them as well. Ooh. It's one of the aklat al-dhawaq. The person who's got the taste, he eats that. Halazum for them is one of the very expensive meals. Wallahi, delicacy, yeah, it is.
They make soup.
They make soup out of it, whatever. From that halazun, snails. But for me, I would not even touch it. It's horrible. It spits all the time. It's got, spittle around him, and I don't like it. I don't like it. But I can't say it's haram. Hippos. You know the hippo? It's the river sea, you could call it. The river animal. Animal of the river. It's like bigger than it. And by the way, the hippos, they really describe them for the children in the cartoons to be nice and cuddly. He is a beast. Horrible. He's a killer. But he's a nice hippo. He's a hippo. He's not a hippo by the way. My dear children, if you get close to the hippo, it can, cut your head off. Very bad animal. Yeah. If you have had a hippo, would you eat it? Yeah. Africans, they love it. I got friends there from Ghana, from Nigeria, they love it. It's their nice food. This is their kebab. And this is their kebab. SubhanAllah. But I don't like hippos. Has anybody had eaten a shark? I do. Very nice meat. Oh, so nice. Shark. Beautiful meat. Very expensive, by the way. Has anybody eaten an octopus? Yeah, very nice. I had a soup of octopus made for me in one of the restaurants. I couldn't believe that this is octopus. So nice meat, you don't stop. Healthy. You go to Spain, the seafood there, oh, mashallah. Once I went there, it's all the food of the sea that somebody made an invitation for a wedding, mashallah. And there, the whole, it's a pile of rice on top of it, like these, what do you call it, Dave?
Lobsters.
Not the lobsters.
Crabs.
Not the crabs as well, the seashells. Seashells around it, decoration, and on top like the lobsters and all of these animals. They really, if you see them, you makes me scared. But they're so nice. The lobsters, they're so nice. Now, prawns as well. My appetite now is over. Well, at least better than the snails and Should we use 3 separate tissue pieces? No, we shouldn't use 3 tissues. Use 1 tissue is enough. As long as you make sure that it's clean, nothing left from the feces, with 1 tissue is no problem. But the stones, it has to be minimum of 3 stones, minimum. All women's everyday discharge from private parts, does that require wudu? A woman's everyday discharge from the private discharge here, of course, it's not doesn't mean the blood, a discharge of liquid or something like this. Now we'll say that does not require wudu. Let's say, for example, that she has, after her menses, the discharge of what we call it al-kudra. Al-kudra means the yellow. Something yellow comes out of the woman. She finished her period, she had her ghusl, then there is something had come out, whether it's yellow or muddy, whatever. In terms of menstruation, no, menstruation is finished, so she has to pray. But in terms of, does it break the wudu? That's a controversial issue. Our Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he says it does break the wudu. Whereas our Shaykh Al-Albani says, what is the proof? Where is the proof? Because we cannot say that anything comes of the private part is to be what? Impure. And take this principle. Take this principle. Any impurities discharged by the human being will nullify your wudu. Do you understand that? That's a principle. Write it down. Any impurities discharged by the human body will nullify your wudu. But not vice versa. But not every discharging thing from a human being that which nullifies your wudu is impure. I'll repeat that again. Every impurity discharged by a human being will nullify your wudu. So if you discharge feces, which is impurity, you discharge urine, which is impurity, then you will what? Nullify. But not everything, which vice versa is not right, but not every discharging thing from the human being which nullifies your wudu is impure. I'll give you an example. The gas that is released by the anus, although it nullifies the wudu, but it is what? Pure. I'm giving an example as well here. The yellow and muddy secretion discharged by a woman after getting clean. So for me, it does not what? Nullifies the wudu. Shaykh al-Fis says nullifies the wudu, but there's a proof. What is the proof to say it is what? Impure. We know that the sperm is discharged by the private part, but it's what? Pure. So not everything discharged. So if, let's say the private part of the woman discharged blood, but not for the menses. Pure, like prolonged period, or internal bleeding, or external bleeding, nothing to do with the menses. Pure. So what makes the muddy and the yellowish impure? So it does not break the wudu. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Take this principle again. This principle here, it says anything discharged by human being, by human body, that does not nullify wudu has to be pure. If your body discharges something which does not nullify your wudu, it has to be what? Pure. Give you an example. Pus. The pus. Does it nullify the wudu? It means what? Means what? Pure. Another one. Sweat. Does it nullify the wudu? No. It means what? Pure. Yes, it's stinky, the sweat. Yes, the pus is not bad and disgusting, but it's pure. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if the husband of a woman discharges pus and she has to lick all of that, she will not give him his full right. It means the pus is what? Pure. Because if it's impure, she cannot lick it. To show the great right of the husband over his wife. I'll give you principles later on as well, more. These are principles derived from the texts. Inshallah. Okay, we finished on the question. Further, my little boy. It's a long question. If you feel wet, impurity in work.
He stole it from me, right? you said if you have impurities on you.
He didn't start it from you. He just, he would try to pretend that he's mashallah. Very good. I like that.
If you said if you get impurities on you, you need to remove it straight away, right? But if you're, say for example, working as a plumber or a cleaner, say if you clean the toilet or you're doing plumbing, you get urine and feces on you.
You have to clean it straight away.
But what if you're going to get it on you regularly because you're cleaning, say for about 3-4 hours, you're doing plumbing and moving the toilet or something?
To clean it straight away, just clean it. And when you clean the toilet, doesn't mean you're going to get impure. You only get impure if you're 100% impure.
No, but if you're doing plumbing, you're removing the toilet. Say you're removing the toilet.
Okay.
You can, and say the bathroom was dirty in the first place, and you remove the toilet. You're
Toilet, brothers, it doesn't see it. It doesn't mean impure. Okay?
No, but the feces.
If you see the feces, if you see the water, that's impure.
Yeah.
But if it's clean water, it's clean water. Even you don't drink it, you don't wash your face in it.
When you take
But
out
it's
the
clean.
water, when you take out the old toilet pipes, they have feces. You can see it
Yeah.
in there.
What I'm just saying, you have to clean it. You have to clean it after you finish that thing. You clean it.
Yeah, after you've done the job, after you finish the job.
If you yes, you have to clean it. It means that you don't delay it to something else.
You know, 'cause otherwise
You don't start something else before you clean it. Do you understand me? Remember that the persons have to remember that a place has got a potty which has got dirt in it. Angels don't come inside it. Angels of mercy. They don't come in a house where there is a continuous impurity inside the house. That is why we tell the brothers to flush their toilets, not to leave the urine there settling. It'll deprive you from the angels. Flush the toilet. Don't leave the urine. Only is being left if it's necessity. Like an old man, he can't really urinate except in a potty. Then he has to have somebody to clean it for him. That's something else. But you don't leave it. Now, Fadl. So I take it you're a plumber.
yes.
Gelatin which is used for food processing, is that something which is impure and cannot be eaten?
Gelatin, I have answered this question so many times. I mean, I've got a headache from gelatin. I've answered it so many times, and I say to the brothers, Ya Akhwana, this is the disease of the era, you know. These people, they start going investigating the food. What is E22, E23, E25, E252, and God knows, you know. Because it's too fussy. It's too fussy. Why is it that when you burn coal and charcoals, you don't go and read the ingredients? It's made from the dog feces. And when he had baked it in under 700 degrees, and we made it into charcoals. We don't really read that, do we? Maybe some people would be fussy while reading it as well. Having halal charcoals. Huh? So regarding the gelatin, ya akhwan, the gelatin is called gelatin because it's been processed. It was not gelatin before it was not processed. It was meat. Regardless whether it's meat of halal or not halal. Whether it's a meat of a dog or a pig, or whatever. It's called a meat, flesh, fat, whatever. But now it's called gelatin. It's been processed. Completely, chemically, had been, as we call it in Arabic, al-istihala. Changed to another different substance. Do you understand that? Just like the grapes changes into what? Wine. And wine changes into?
Vinegar.
Grape and vinegar. Change of the process. So if now I'm going to give you white spirit vinegar. What is it made from? It is made from the juice of the grapes and it was turned into alcohol and turns into vinegar. Oh, haram. No, yeah, it's not haram. Vinegar is vinegar. Vinegar is the opposite of alcohol. Alcohol and vinegar, they are opposite each other. But they're made from one another. So when they change process chemically, we don't really look at how it's been made. We look at the last product. Yes, we concern ourselves if it's how it's made. If we make it ourselves, then we have to make it halal way. So it's not allowed for us to bring wine and turn it into what? Grape juice. Because you could reverse the process. You cannot make it grape juice again. But if it's being processed to you, this is a grape juice, is made by a grape juice which was made into wine, and we return it back into grape juice, no problem, akhi, as long as it's grape juice. I'm not caring about what it was before. I'm caring about what is the product. So gelatin, what is it now? Gelatin goes into the chocolate. Have you ever tasted a chocolate that's got gelatin? Ooh, it tastes like a cow. It tastes like beef. I don't think so. I don't think so, Ikhwan. Wallah, I don't think so. That gelatin is actually processed. And let's say it has not been processed. It's still meat, which is not. It's still meat. To do it yourself is haram, but it's made for you. I'm asking, that quantity which is of that filth, the najasa, is it so much that affected the taste of the product? I'll give you an example. This bottle of water, if I gave it to you and you didn't know that there's a drop of urine in it, which did not change any of the three characters of the water, whether it's the smell or the color or the taste, and I'm giving it to you, and you drank it, it's water, do you think it's haram? No, it's not haram. Because that urine, that blood, that drop of urine, even if it's impure, it did not spoil the product of the water. It's still, the water is still water. Same thing here. Let's say the gelatin stayed as meat, haram. It went in small quantities into that item, and that item still, chocolate bars, or whatever, Snickers, whatever it is, chocolate and ice cream, still there. You never taste meat and pigs and all of that in ice cream. You don't do that. So the quantity of it is still what? So little. And that's the correct opinion. Apart from that, there is no other opinion which is right. And I'm disgusted with those who say that, for example, so you could just say to me that if I go and cook pig meat so much and I cook it, it becomes halal because it's not. Yeah, if you cook it 100 times, still pig meat is pig meat. But this is chemically processed. Do you understand me? Chemically processed. Just like you have turned that skin of the animal, which is what? Impure, haram, into what? Pure. You have treated it. Not like the gelatin treatment, less than even. You just salt, and then you tanned it. So this is not anymore pig, not anymore meat. Okay, let's have a question with the sisters here. Obviously, all mediations have side effects, or medications. What if they cause drowsiness? Is this haram? Alhamdulillah. No, drowsiness is part of the medicine. Like the medicine is bitter in taste. As long as it does not cause you to be drunkenness, that's something else. So the drowsiness is not made from the alcohol. Drowsiness because of the histamine, antidotes used to be before. I remember when I used to have hay fever. Those medicines, they take them, they put me to sleep. I feel my head, a really big headache. They never had any substance of alcohol. Antihistamine, it really makes you what? Makes you drowsy. But these days it has to be non-drowsiness, called non-drowsiness medicine. It's much better. Right. This is what the answer. If you have any other questions, we can stop here now, because we've taken a long time here. Last question.
The wiping over the socks, it ends, for example, on Asr, and then you forget and you wipe over it, and then you start your Asr prayer, and then in the middle you remember that, oh, you should make full wudu. What should you do?
If a person wiped over the khuf after the time is elapsed, then his wudu is invalid. So if your wudu is invalid and you remember in the middle of the prayer, you stop your prayer. You have to make full wudu, of course. Just like you pass wind, what do you do in the prayer? Stay in the prayer. Same thing. You remember that you are not on wudu, you have to stop the prayer straight away and go and make wudu.
So you have to make full wudu from the beginning or just do the feet?
No, because the time had elapsed and you have said that you cannot wipe over the khuf because that has finished the timing of it. So you have to have full wudu. You can't wash the feet. Because you can't wipe over it. You said to me the 24 hours is finished.
No, I mean, can you just wash the feet because you've already made
No.
the hands again?
You have to make full wudu. Of course. Subhanakallah bihamdi.